Just because it seems like God is too late doesn't mean that he's not going to come through. Don't be fooled by the circumstances. You may not see anything. The odds are against you. The experts say it's not going to work out. God controls the universe. Don't be impatient for him to act. Keep believing, keep praying, and every blessing that belongs to you will show up. You won't have to go after it. It's going to come to you. It's going to happen at the time God has planned.
If God can pick me up and dust me off, I bet you he can do the same thing for you. But he can't do it if you don't come to it. You got to ask him for help. God wants a relationship with you. He don't want you to call him every 6 months. He want to hear from you, man. He just want to say, hey, man, God, I appreciate you today. Thank you for waking me up this morning. And the cool thing about God is you ain't got to clear it with nobody. You don't need an appointment. You ain't got to see if he available. He open 24/7. He here all the time. I'm telling you, man. Look at me. You gotta have God. I'm telling you real. You try this without God, you tripping. You tripping. You do this without relationship with God gives you the tools and the weapons to handle life. You can stop thinking that life fitting be easy, because I got news for you, it ain't. That's a false hope to think you're going to have a wonderfully carefree life. That's unthinkable. I made a t-shirt that said, faith don't make it easy. Faith makes it possible. You just need some faith, man. You got to call on God, and when it look like he ain't coming, you got to keep calling on him. See, the moment you call, let me teach you this one lesson. I'm gonna let you go, I promise. This is short. The way it works is, when you ask God for something, he boxes it up and he delivers it to you immediately. He ships the whatever you're asking for. If you believe it, he boxes it up and he ships it immediately. The problem with the package, he never tells you the date that the package is going to arrive. If you send it to me in 2020, I'm gonna be here for it. If it ain't coming to 2025, but you know what? He got some pretty good boxes. And I want every box that's got my name on it. Renew your faith. Keep praying. God is always coming. Your package has already been shipped. If you're trying to make it in this world without God in your life, you're making it way harder than it's got to be. I'm telling you, man, I did it. I did it without him. It does not work. I flunked out of school. I had a severe stuttering problem. I couldn't talk outside my house. I'm on my 3rd marriage. I lost everything I ever owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years. You can't tell me nothing about what he can't do for you. Nothing. Let me tell you something, man. I've been bottomed out. I'm talking about flat bottomed out. Nothing. I was talking today with my oldest son. He said, man, damn. Every time I hear about something you went through, I just go, how did you make it? I just kept this faith, man. I just kept believing that God didn't bring me this far to leave me. I just kept hearing my mama as a Sunday school teacher saying little scriptures to me. It didn't dawn on me till I got older. I'm telling you, man, I didn't get a car in my name till I was 38 years old. I was 38 before I purchased my first car. 38. Come on, man. I lived in a car for 3 years. I had nothing. But I made a decision, man. I just started talking to God every day. I just started asking him for help, to hear me. If you call God and you ask him to hear you, he hears you. I'm just telling you, it's real. God is real, man. Don't let nobody fool you. Listen to me, young people. Don't let nobody fool you.
We all go through things in life that don't make sense. A friend walked out of a relationship. The company's downsizing. They don't need us anymore. Or we were being our best. Then the pandemic hit. Business went down. Children can't go to school. Dreams are put on hold. Sometimes it feels like we're going backwards. It's easy to live frustrated and think, God, why is this happening? But we're not going to understand everything that happens. God's ways are not our ways. He can see things that we can't see. And just because it's not fair doesn't mean that God is not in control. Your steps are being ordered by the Lord. If He allowed it to happen, He's going to bring good out of it. He promises all things work together for your good. On its own, it may not be good. It wasn't fair. You're uncomfortable. But when it all comes together, you're going to see how it works to your advantage. The difficulty, the delay, the betrayal was all instrumental in you reaching your destiny. But none of us like bad breaks, loss, delay. But without that difficulty, you couldn't become who you were created to be. It may look like a dead end, but really it's setting you up for promotion. That door closed so a bigger door could open. That person that left you, it was hurtful, but it wasn't just their choice. God moved them out of the way so He could bring someone better. Well, that struggle was difficult. You didn't do anything wrong, but you had opposition at work. Your child wouldn't do what's right. It wasn't fair, but what you couldn't see is it was growing you up, developing your character, getting you stronger, more confident, more determined. Without it, you wouldn't be prepared for the blessing, the increase, the new levels that are coming your way. You may not understand what you're going through. You could live worried, discouraged. Try a new approach. God, I don't understand it, but I trust you. I know you're in control. You're working all things for my good. So I'm not going to live upset. I'm going to stay in peace, knowing that you will get me to where I'm supposed to be. There are a lot of things we don't understand, trouble that we've never seen. Like Jesus washed the disciples' feet, you're His disciple. If you would have been there, He would have washed your feet. I can imagine Him doing that today. He's saying, you're going to walk through things you don't understand, see difficulties that you've never seen. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to live upset and afraid, but don't worry, I've washed your feet. I've prepared you for what you're going to face. I've armed you with strength for the battle. It may not make sense, but it's all a part of my plan. God is getting you ready for new levels of influence, new levels of favor, new levels of leadership, new levels of resources. Now make sure you keep your shoes of peace on. Don't panic over the pandemic. Don't fear the unknown. Don't lose sleep over what doesn't make sense. God has equipped you, empowered you, and anointed you. You've been raised up for such a time as this. No weapon formed against you will prosper. You keep walking in faith, trusting when you don't understand, and you're going to walk into blessings, favor, healing, freedom, abundance, victory like you've never seen. I've learned when you stay in faith, when you don't understand, you're going to come into blessings that you don't understand. When you trust God when it doesn't make sense, you're going to come into favor that doesn't make sense. Could it be that the disappointment you're so upset about is really a blessing in disguise? You can't see it, but it's a part of a divine plan, a critical piece that God is going to use years down the road to take you where you've never dreamed. But right now, that situation by itself doesn't make sense. It seems random, just a bad break, when in fact, it's the hand of God setting you up for increase. Without that challenge, you won't see the far and beyond favor that belongs to you. Trust Him when it doesn't make sense. I know this is not easy. We don't like closed doors, unfair situations, being uncomfortable. But God uses these things to move us into our purpose. It's not just the good breaks that will take you into your destiny. The closed doors are as important as the open doors. The betrayals are just as important as the divine connections. God uses them all.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts you hate, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will.
Humans don't want to die because deep in their hearts, they know that they have not finished what they were born to start. That's why they don't want to die. When a person have discovered their purpose and have fulfilled their destiny, they welcome death. Death never threatens a human who discovers their purpose. The Apostle Paul, for example, was not afraid to die. As a matter of fact, the Apostle Paul died willfully. He decided to die. Let me quote him. I quote, "I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. I have been poured out like a drink offering, and there's nothing left for me to do. I am now ready to be offered." Wow. He had this clear confidence about death. So please write these statements down, please. Very important. First, I want to talk to you about purpose and destiny. Write the two words down. And I want to focus on, in this first segment, the laws of personal success from a kingdom perspective. Let's talk about success for a minute. Proceed. Now, success is something that every human wants. Everybody wants to succeed.
There's all kinds of different ways to break. You can break physically, you can break mentally, you can break your heart, you can break your spirit, and none of those are fun, and all of those are gonna leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be the mark of victory, or it can be the mark of defeat. Because every time you break, and in every way that you break, while it's a chance, it's definitely a chance for you to give up and for you to just to fall apart. But there's also opportunity. There's opportunity to get stronger and get smarter and get faster and get tougher and get more stable and get more resilient and get better. When you break, you have the opportunity to show the world, the whole world, what you are really made of. So if you break, if you break, the fight isn't over. In fact, if you break, the fight is just beginning. And as you crawl up and out of that dismal and wretched place, and you're covered in blood and sweat and dirt and filth as you rise above what you were, and as you take the form of who you are supposed to be, you will see that in the very act of standing up, in the very act of fighting on, you will become and you will remain.
But for you to succeed in life, there are 5 questions you must answer. And every human being on earth is trying to answer these questions right now, including the person sitting in your chair right now. These 5 questions control the human race. These 5 questions motivate everything you do. These 5 questions are so powerful that they create everything in this planet that humans do. These 5 questions are the source of all of your problems. They are the source of all the crime in your city. They are the source of all of your broken homes and divorce. They are the source of all corruption. These 5 questions are the source of every problem a human faces is in these 5 questions. In other words, our attempt to find the answer to these 5 questions is the cause of all of our behavior. As a matter of fact, you came here tonight and you're watching this program live around the world because of these 5 questions. I have reduced all of human life to 5 questions. Write them down. Number 1, who am I? It's a tough question to answer. Most people have never asked nor answered that question because it's a frightening question. The average human never answers that question. Who am I? The second question that you must answer to become successful in life is, where am I from? Where am I from? Again, 99% of the world's population never answers that question. That question has nothing to do with your ethnicity. Where am I from? The third question every human must answer to become successful on this planet is, why am I here? Why was I conceived? Why was I born? And I am certain that most of you sitting here in this room still have not answered that question. Why am I here on this planet? The fourth question every human must answer to be successful is, what can I do? What can I do? That question has to do with, what am I capable of? Again, over 90% of the world's population haven't answered that question. And the last question every human is grappling with is the question, where am I going?
I need you to die on E. You heard what I said, die on E. E.T., what you talking about? Die on E. I ain't no car. Man, I remember when I was young, my first whip, I had a blue Escort. That's right, a blue Escort, right? And I'm gonna tell you something, man. My car broke down. I never forget the day it broke down. I had filled the car up, that's right, with gas. I had gotten an oil change. Listen to me, I had an oil change and the car was almost on full. And when that car died, I had about 40 bucks in that car. Are you hearing me? You heard what I said. Die on E. When you die, when life is over for you. Are you hearing me? I don't want you to have one idea left in you. I don't want one dream left in you. When you die, I want you to go for broke. Every CD that you were supposed to do, every book you were supposed to write, every degree you were supposed to get. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Everything you were supposed to accomplish. When you die, don't go to the grave with nothing. When you die, die on E. And what I mean is, I want you to give everything you got. I want you to, listen to me, full potential. I want you to get everything out your system. So that's number 1. You got, my boy Alex put it like this. The reason why you guys are going to separate yourself from everybody else if you die on E, because most people that are alive are living on neutral. They driving in neutral. They operating in neutral. So I want you to get out of neutral and put it in drive. I need you to transition from the I to the A. That's right, I said it. Transition from the I. And what's an I? The I is an idea. That's all it is. It's an idea. So I want us to do more A than I. That's right. I want us to live in the A and not the I. What do I mean by that? Some people, man, they got an idea and all you do is talk, talk, talk. Every time you get an idea, you pick up the phone, you call your homegirl, you three-way, you get on conference call, and you getting excited about your idea. All right? You telling your mama about it, your daddy about it, and there's more life in you when you talk about the idea than you put any action in it. Are you hearing me? So do me a huge favor. Write the idea down and then shut up. You heard what I said. Write the idea down and shut up. You ain't got to share your idea with 50 people. Write the idea down and boom, get to stepping, baby. Get to the action. Because listen to me very closely. Your success is not determined on just what you say. Now, I'm not disagreeing with you got to speak stuff into existence. I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm telling you, you can't talk about it all the time. You got to be about it.
Success begins with identifying a problem to solve. So Jesus Christ knew, if I'm going to be successful, I must succeed in something. So he went looking for a problem. He found one. He found 12 Sorry, he found 3 young men at that time sitting on the beach with an empty boat. That was a problem. They were professionals. They didn't know what to do with their problem. What did he do? He offered to solve their problems. What did he use? His gift. What was his gift? The gift of dominion. And he told them to go back out. Wrong location, wrong depth, and net on the wrong side, and he solved their problem. Now, what happened after that? Do you remember what happened after that? It says, Peter said to him, "What manner of man are you?" In other words, you just separated yourself from normal men. That's what that means. We thought you was a normal person. Success begins with separating yourselves from the pack. What manner of person are you? Why? Because you solved a problem that we couldn't solve. You used the gift we didn't know you had. Immediately, he became celebrated. He became a celebrity. No wonder why they were willing to drop their nets, shut down their fishing company, and join him. Because he became what? Successful in an area of life. Therefore, he became influential. Influence is the capacity to cause other people to listen to you or to follow you. What is influence? Oh dear. I guess I'm talking to myself. Talk to myself, talk to the hand. Influence is the capacity to cause other people to listen to you or to follow you. That's influence. Suddenly they decided to listen to him. Then they went even to the point where they said, "We will follow you." Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours.
Positive thinking won't let you do anything, but it will let you do everything. Better than negative thinking will. Now, I know that for most busy people, getting regular exercise is about as easy as climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. But it can be done. You've just got to have a plan. You've got to set some goals, because it's just as difficult to reach a destination you don't have as it is to come back from a place you've never been. Unless you have definite, precise, clearly defined goals, you will not realize the maximum potential that lies within you. And this applies to every aspect of your life, not just to exercise. Now, here's some steps you can take towards that end. First, identify your goals, and next, set a deadline for reaching them. Make a list of obstacles you have to overcome to reach your goals. Identify the people who can help you overcome those obstacles, and make a list of skills you have and those you need to achieve your goals, and then develop a plan. Now, a word about goals themselves. There are 7 different kinds of goals. There are physical, financial, spiritual, career, family, mental, and social. And these 7 types of goals share several characteristics. First, to be effective, they must effect change. We must have some big goals, because thinking big creates the excitement necessary for accomplishment. Second, you must have some long-range goals so that short-range frustrations don't stop you in your tracks. Occasionally, circumstances do arise that are beyond your control, and oftentimes obstacles such as market changes, sickness, accidents, or family problems can be pretty intimidating. But by keeping your eye on the prize, you will find that the excitement of winning that prize will carry you through the tough times. Third, if you don't have daily objectives, you qualify as a dreamer and not as a doer. Dreamers are fine, provided they build foundations under their dreams by working daily towards them. Often, the difference between the great and the near great is the awareness that making it big means working every day towards our long-range objectives. And 4, your goals must be specific. not vague or general. If you want a new home, for example, know every detail of that house. How many square feet, number of rooms and bathrooms, the shape of the living room, the type and kind of lot, its location. If it's a car you're dreaming about, picture the make, the model, the color, and every option you want it to have. You see, if you want to reach your goal, you must see it, be able to smell, to touch, and to taste it. Know how it looks and what it feels like in your own mind. Before you can reach that goal, you see, it is true that whether you think you can or think you can't, you are generally right.
Many people lose things that matter to them, things that mean something to them. Recently, I spoke very highly about my father while he was in this world. But now my father is gone. And what hurt me the most is that I didn't have the chance to say goodbye. I didn't have the chance to travel to bury my father because of the crisis that we are facing in our society, in this world right now. But yet I'm here, yet I'm still alive, and yet I still got work to do in this world. Does it hurt? Am I grieving? Do I feel a little bit of despair? Absolutely. Absolutely, I feel that pain. Absolutely, I understand what it means to hurt. Absolutely, I feel like there's nothing else left in me. Because when I lost my father, a piece of me went with him. Now, that's not something to just be telling you. I'm telling you the reality of how I feel as a man, as a son, as a father, as a human being. No matter how strong, no matter how tough you think you are, you're gonna hurt. You're gonna feel that sense of emptiness. You're gonna feel that sense of loss. But the best thing about losing is to grow, is to feel it, is to understand it, is to fight through it. It's nothing on earth can stop your purpose if you just hold on to it. So I live not just for me, not just for my family, not just for the people that look to me, but I do it to honor my parents. It feels not the best of me right now because I don't have that mother to talk to. I don't have that father to talk to or to give advice. It's just me now. The people that mattered in my life, the people that gave me life are no longer in this world, but they exist in my heart. They give me a reason that they left a legacy for me to carry on. This doesn't mean that it's the end of me. It means that I have work to do. It means that I have to continue to push and go harder and go stronger. It means that I have to stay focused. It means that I have to stay faithful. Doesn't matter how strong or how weak you are, you must climb that mountain. Doesn't matter how many times you fall, you must climb that mountain. You may slip a few times, but you must climb that mountain. If you're looking over your shoulder and worrying about who's behind you, how can you focus on what's going on at the top of the mountain? So you slip, so you fall. But are you breathing? Can you feel your heart beating? Are you alive? Then keep climbing. Don't be worrying about what you can't control, but you can control your emotions.
What's an area that's important to improve? If your body's great, how about your career? If career's great, how about your relationships? Intimate one especially, or your kids, or your relationship with your creator, your spiritual side of your life, or is it your finances?
That this is our life, that we're the ones calling the shots. So if you don't feel like doing something, just do it. Just go.
Everyone knows how to do a better job than they're doing. That's not the problem. We do know how. The problem is we're not doing what we know how to do.
I suggest that you understand that you've got to be the one to make it to the finish line. And even when you cross the finish line, prepare yourself for the next race of your life. Because every day you're racing, run fast, run strong, and believe in it, but don't quite understand why you're running. If you ever question why you run, believe, and know there's a purpose behind everything that you do, it is time to run for your life pushing. with everything you have inside and you running towards an opportunity.
Figure an area that really matters. Decide on that area. Number one, write down what your life is like in that area right now as specifically as possible. So you might say, well, I'm 13.5 pounds overweight, whatever the weight is, whatever the situation is, or my body fat's like this, or I wake up exhausted in the morning, and you write the truth of where you are right now. So you're real clear. Or I'm not in a relationship. I say I want a relationship, but I'm not in one, and I don't seem to find them. All the good ones seem to be gone is my belief. And I really do want one, but I don't have it. Whatever your definition, or I'm in a relationship and I wish I wasn't in a relationship. I'm planning my escape, wherever you are. Or I have a wonderful relationship. We love each other, but there just isn't enough passion.
When you feel like giving up, when you feel like everything is against you, when you feel like the situation is going to get worse and you're nervous and you're scared and you're worried, you have to remember not only who you are, but what species that you are a part of. You're a part of the human race. We have sent people to space. We have created technologies that allow us to talk to people from across the globe. We have cured some of the most potent diseases on the face of the planet. We have created peace. We have come together. We have started movements. We've supported each other through the toughest times in history. We have shown humanity that we can actually fight for something bigger than ourselves, that we can act for things that are outside of who we are. We have shown the world that we can come together for a common good, that we can come together and strive towards achieving a common goal. We are built for challenge.
Just write the truth of where you are. The area you want to change, but write how it is. And then the second step is, this is where you got to be really honest with yourself. What are the rituals that have put me there? Because whatever results you're getting, even if you don't like the results, there's some rituals that are keeping you in that place. There's some rituals of what you eat or don't eat, how you move or don't move, how you sleep or don't sleep. There's some rituals in the lack of variety or spice or energy or focus in an area. There's something you're doing, and it's usually not one thing, it's a bunch of little things that you kind of do consistently whenever you think about getting in a relationship, whenever you think about working out, whenever you think about money. You get yourself in a state of overwhelm. You start thinking about all the things you can't control. Just write down all the rituals you have, and then here's the third step. What do you want? What's your vision? And be really specific. I want to be my fighting weight. I want to be the strongest I've ever felt. I'm going to turn whatever it is, be specific. And then, last step, number 4.
We are built for uncertainty. We are built for tough times. We are made for adversity. And we are more powerful together than any enemy we will ever face. We are bigger than this. We will get through this. We are stronger than this. As long as we play our part. You can either be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. You will either help the situation, not only your situation, but the situation of the people in your life and the people on this planet, or you won't. So quiet the fear, quiet the worry, quiet the anxiety, quiet the stress, quiet the frustration, quiet that voice in your mind that tells you that you can't get through this, that things will get worse, that maybe you're just not strong enough. Quiet that voice, quiet the doubt. Don't let the thoughts that you can't handle this take up any access space in your mind.
You were born to be great. Believe it. There's greatness inside. So stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and start worrying about what you're going to do in order to get the life that you want. In order for you to live the life that you want, you got to do the things that you don't want. In order for you to live the life of luxury, of health, of wealth, of happiness, you've got to make sacrifice. If it comes easy and fast, it's going to leave the exact same way. You can do much better than what you were doing.
Why aren't we? Well, there's an answer to that, and there's your answer. It's paradigms. Paradigms are the problem. Why is it that paradigms are holding us back? Well, I think we have to ask ourselves, what is a paradigm? A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. Joel Barker wrote a book on paradigms way back around 1990. He said to be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Success is a doing. You've got to actually do it.
They really get your fingerprint. before they really feel your breath, before they really get your contribution, before they really feel you. That's what you don't want to happen. You don't want to leave this place without us knowing you were here. All I'm doing is giving my dream a chance. And I'm not extraordinary. You don't get off the hook. You don't get to be let off the hook. I'm an ordinary woman who chooses every day to make one more extraordinary decision.
I've come a long way, but I have a long way to go. I'm on a journey where I've come a long way, but I still have a vision that I have to reach for. And as I'm going on this journey, I'm realizing that there are a few things that are absolutely imperative to keep in mind. Number one, you can't do it alone.
Run towards a victory run as hard as you can. You've got to understand why you're running. You have to understand the significance and why you're running. Don't run away from the challenges. Don't run away because it's not going the way you want it to go. Run. Full heart run with everything you have in your heart, your legs moving. Run sometimes. You may ask yourself, how fast can I run? How fast can I get to my destination? But you have to also understand when you're running, you've got to have in your mind that you've got to pace yourself. You've got to be able to pay attention when you're running. Because while you're running, there are going to be obstacles around you, and these obstacles are going to be put in place that may try to distract you, but you've got to keep running. And some days you're going to be slow, and some days you just got to be fast, but make sure when you're running. Please do watch our other motivation videos on the screen now. Thank you.
Activity is high priority in the life process to try to get maximum benefit out of what we have available. Activity. Now, here's an important question. What is your philosophy about activity? What about hard work? What about long hours? What about full days? If you're doing something, how hard should you go at it? How much time should you put in? Everybody has to develop their philosophy about activity. Just by way of review, let me quote you. Old Testament says, 6 days activity, 1 day rest. That's called philosophy of ratio of activity. What is a good ratio of rest and activity? Old Testament says 6 days of one, 1 day of the other. We've all got to have a philosophy about activity.
Stop settling for second place, third place, fourth place. Stop settling. Stop being content, being selfish, stubborn. Stop being content just getting by week by week. Some weeks you'll fall behind. Stop being content because when you look in the mirror, at the end of the day, you can't fool the person looking back on you. Everybody on social media ain't the person that you think they are. Because you are great. You are amazing, and I believe in you. If you don't believe in you, I believe in you because that's what it took for me to be great. I've stumbled, I felt.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A.
And I think psychologically, the advantage that gives me over a lot of people that I have been in competition with in different situations is it's difficult to take the first step when you look how big. The task is never huge to me. It's always one brick. I believe, and I learned very young, that you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I want to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. There will not be one brick on the face of the earth that's going to be laid better than this brick that I'm going to lay in this next 10 minutes. And you do that every single day, and you have a wall.
I've never really viewed myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is ridiculous, sickening work ethic. You know, while the other guy's sleeping, I'm working. While the other guy's eating, I'm working.
The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams, that want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft.
I always knew that I could work hard enough. There wasn't an issue with discipline, or there wasn't an issue with the ability to sacrifice or the willingness to sacrifice.
There's no easy way around it. No matter how talented you are, your talent is going to fail you if you're not skilled. You know, if you don't study, if you don't work really hard and dedicate yourself to being better every single day.
One year, my father had his shop. He decided for whatever reason that he wanted a new wall on the front of his shop. So he tore down probably about 16 feet high and probably about 30 feet long. He just completed the wall down, and my brother and I had to dig a 6-foot hole. We were mixing the concrete by a year and a half. We were building this wall for a year and a half. Every day after school, we would come and mix some concrete, put it in the hole, doing it, and it was just myself and my little brother. And I remember standing back, looking at that wall, saying, there's going to be a hole here forever. A year and a half later, we laid the final brick. And my father stood back with my brother and I know he planned it. He says he did.
The secret to life is effective management of time and chance. And here's what my message is about tonight. The principal key to management of time and change plan. You cannot control time nor change, but you can plan the way you use them. Successful people are simply people who effectively planned how they use time. Someone said, if you aim at nothing, you will never miss. Planning creates bullseyes. It creates destinies. It creates targets. Without a plan, you are just shooting in the wind. Don't allow another year be a year of just shooting in the wind. Planning is the most important principle of success in life, because the only thing that regulates and change is plan. Oh, I'm a planner. You see, without a plan, time and change will ruin. If you don't plan on what you're going to do, somebody will plan it. The most dangerous person in the Bahamas is a guy named Les. You all know this guy? Dangerous, eh? Let's go this. Let's go do that. Let's go here. Come go with me. Let's go here. Let's go dream this. Les will kill you. The only defense against Les is a plan. When Les said, let's go, tell him, I got a plan already. Go into the new year with a plan that is so strong that time will submit to it and change will become its servant. I put it to you then that next year, I want you to remember what you're about to write. God says is the year of changes in time. The number 13, I did some research for you. Do you know that every single letter in Hebrew is a number? Write that down. You didn't know that. So when God spoke to Moses and Joshua and Daniel and Joseph, he was speaking in numbers. The Hebrew language is the only language that comes in numbers. Some of you wonder why we use the term 666 for the beast. Well, the word beast in Hebrew is 3 letters, and they actually are all 6 in number. That's the word beast. So when the Bible says the beast shall appear and shall subjugate the earth and shall contaminate the temple, the word beast is 666. It's a number. But do you know what 13 is in Hebrew? It is the word change. Welcome to the year.
And I could understand that it really was, because I was grounded. I've done was doing and continue to this day to do the consciousness work. I work at staying awake. And being awakened is just another word for spirituality, but spirituality throws people off and they think you mean religion. When I was hiring people for my company, for looking for presidents, when people would come in, I'd say, tell me, what is your spiritual practice? And literally would throw people, I'm not religious. Or I said, I didn't ask you about your religion. I asked you about your spiritual practice. What do you do to take care of yourself? What do you do to keep yourself centered? What do you do to and one woman started crying. So to answer your question, everything is fueled that comes from me really wanting to be a better person on earth. And this is what I know to be true. The reason why the show worked is because I understood that audience, my viewers, the people who watched us every day and would come and, just like you all did, get tickets, and they would come with their family. You all just came across campus, but That's good too. People would come from all over the world just to be there with their aunts and their mothers, and they'd come with their cousins, and there'd be a few men in there going, what? Or saying, well, I went to Oprah with you. I had such regard for that. And I just had a conversation with John Mackey, who runs Whole Foods, and has written this fabulous book. You should get it, called Conscious Capital. And he was talking about how the investment in the stakeholders, the people who you are serving, that connection between the people who you're trying to serve and sell to, is equally as important as the people who you're buying from, equally as important as the people who are, supporting you financially, as your stockholders if you are, a public company. So I always understood that there really was no difference between me and the audience. At times I might have had better shoes, but at the core of what really matters, that we are the same. And you know how I know that? Because all of us are seeking the same thing. You're here at this fabulous school, and we'll go out into the world and each pursue based upon what you believe your talents are, what your skills are, maybe your gifts are, but you're seeking the same thing. Everybody wants to fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself.